judge had advisedly struck out 8 out of the 15 count charge, in spite of the noise that the prosecution was making, that all the counts were strong. But what we did was to appeal against the remaining 7 count charge to the Court of Appeal. Don't forget, it was done successfully in the case of FRN versus Senator Bukola Saraki. The Code of Conduct Tribunal had discharged him and acquitted him on all counts that were before it. The Court of Appeal, upon appeal by the prosecution, the Court of Appeal retained some of the counts. Agree with the Code of Conduct Tribunal on some of them that were discounted. Saraki appealed to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said, no, you can't oppose some and remove some. So the Supreme Court finally set free Saraki. That is the fate, by the special grace of God, going by Lamentations 3:37, that I see happening in this case. Who is it that speaketh, and it cometh to pass, if God has not commanded it? So what we have done is that apart from appealing, we have also timelessly compiled the record of proceedings and sent to the Court of Appeal. And the appeal has been duly entered at the Court of Appeal, going by Order 5, Rule 10 of the Court of Appeal rules. The Federal High Court ceases to have over the matter, because there can't be 2 Obas or 2 Ezes or 2 Mayors, 1 palace. A Federal High Court cannot confront the jurisdiction of the Court of Appeal. So once a higher court has been seized of a matter, then the Federal High Court will wash his hands off that matter, like Pontius Pilate did in the Bible. And the judge again today advisedly agree with us that the appeal haven't been entered. Indeed, we have even filed our brief of argument to show how serious we are. We have even filed a motion dated 11th of October 2022, urging the Court of Appeal to grant us Nnamdi Kanu accelerated hearing, because we believe in the appeal. It's not a small screen appeal. It's an appeal we believe that it will settle this case once and for all. And as usual, the prosecution was trying to argue that, under Section 406 of AJA, under Section 2 of AJA, you are not to stay interlocutory proceedings. That is not the law. The Constitution is supreme, and by virtue of Section 1, subsection 3, any section of AJA or any part of the national that is with the provisions of the Constitution is void, null and void to the extent of that inconsistency. If AJA, of course, we know the Supreme Court has already struck down many sections of AJA. If AJA frontally confronts Supreme Court decisions up to this year to the effect that jurisdiction can be raised at any time, even at the Supreme Court for the first time, then how can you be talking about AJA saying that, AJA says you cannot appeal on interlocutory matters? How dare you say that? What AJA is trying to say is that even though we have attacked the jurisdiction of the court by saying that there is no jurisdiction to try the rule, what AJA is saying is that Mrs. Binta Nyako should first go ahead and try the whole matter, and then at the end of the day take a decision when she's delivering her final judgment. Take a decision on whether or not she actually had jurisdiction to try the matter in the first instance. So, ask yourself, even for laymen, if she never had jurisdiction to try the matter, what have we been doing for about 5 years now? It means that you have wasted your time trying a case in which you had no jurisdiction, and you are now finally ruling on the day you are delivering the judgment that I have discovered I have no jurisdiction. Law is not, even if law were an ass, it is made for man to use reasonably. And law this time is not an ask. So I've told them, I said, save your gunpowder, let us go to the Court of Appeal and argue this point. Whether AGIA can overrule the Constitution, whether AGIA can overrule Supreme Court decisions, which continues to maintain that jurisdictional issues such as we have raised before the Court of Appeal can be raised at any time, even for the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court. But in our ruling today on another issue that we had argued in May, which was that the bench warrant she had issued in 2019 was wrongly issued because Nnamdi Kanu did not jump bail. You jump bail when you leave voluntarily. Nnamdi Kanu was enjoying his bail, fulfilling all the conditions granted by the court until the 14th of September 2017, when Army, under the pseudonym of Operation Python, invaded the home of Eze Kanu, the traditional ruler of Afaraoku, Ibeku, Umuahia, Abia State, leading to the gruesome murder of 28 innocent Nigerians. It was in the heat of that moment, fortuitous Deus ex machina intervened that Nnamdi escaped with the whiskers. He managed to escape, and he told me how he escaped. He himself cannot even react. You are saying a person who escaped certain death jumped bail, like a would say, he's only a madman that stands in front of a moving train. He will be crushed. You don't stand in front of a moving train. So we now told the court that Nnamdi Kanu did not jump bail. So issuing that bench warrant was wrong. And we filed our motion to that effect on the 1st of April 2019. But unfortunately, the judge apparently did not capture the date it was filed. In our ruling today, she said we waited 4 years before filing that application. That was not correct. We actually filed that application as soon as she granted that bench warrant on the 1st of April 2019. But she didn't see that. I think it was a genuine mistake of the head, not of the heart. If she had captured that date, she would not, because the entire ruling, and of course she said we could come back with more facts if we have more facts. Just as she also said we could come back with more facts for Nnamdi Kanu's bail. She did not totally reject Nnamdi Kanu's bail. She said we could come back for the bail by providing her facts to show that Nnamdi Kanu did not jump bail. These are the facts we are mentioning now. And if she had addressed her learned mind to the fact that this application was actually filed on the 1st of April 2019 and not a fresh application filed 4 years later, she would have ruled otherwise. Because of that, because these are matters of law and the liberty of a citizen is at stake under Section 36 of the Constitution, we are again appealing against that ruling of today because it was an erroneous ruling based on facts that were not before the judge. Now, on the other issue, which I saw trending, Mr. President, General Muhammadu Buhari, President Muhammadu Buhari, during the side talks at the 26th Commonwealth Heads of States Conference that took place in Kigali, Rwanda, also made the same point that Nnamdi Kanu has to explain in his trial why he did not want to intervene, why he jumped bail, went outside Nigeria, and started saying awful things, to use his words, against Nigeria. That was his position. I think Mr. President, with all due respect, was again misled by his advisor, particularly the prosecution, because this is the same position they have been maintaining, which they must have sold as a dummy to Mr. President. Nnamdi Kanu did not jump bail. As soon as he landed, first in Rome, he deposed to an affidavit in Rome that I managed to escape here. This is why I escaped here, because they wanted to kill me. When he got to Israel, he deposed to another affidavit that I managed to come here because I ran away from home after they tried to kill me and they killed 28 Nigerians. They invaded my father's royal palace. These facts were placed before this court. And we have always put these facts, sworn affidavits, in Rome, in Israel. They are before the court. So, if a court ignores them, we have to test them at the Court of Appeal, because 3 good heads are better than 1 good head. So Mr. President himself was again therefore wrong to say Nnamdi Kanu had jumped bail. Mr. President, sir, hear it now, sir, from me, loud and clear. Nnamdi Kanu never, ever contemplated jumping bail. He never jumped bail and had no cause to jump bail. He believes that Nigeria must operate under a system of social justice, equity, good conscience, mutual respect, and egalitarianism. But if his people, the Igbos, are not being given an opportunity to have self-actualization and realization within the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and they are still being regarded, sir, as we call them, as a dot in the cycle, that they should be given the opportunity for self-determination. Self-determination is not a criminal offense. It is recognized by all international instruments. The United Nations Declaration of Human Rights of 1948, rights of indigenous people, social and economic rights, the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, the European Convention on Human Rights, the American Intergovernmental Convention on Human Rights. Every international convention recognizes self-determination as a human right. And when IPOB started on the Python Operation Python by the army, every Nigerian saw IPOB on the streets marching, blowing whistle, pam 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 pam. We are Republic of Biafra. They were never violent. They would wear their berets. They would be marching. They would sing and dancing on the streets. They never went violent. It was the Nigerian state that introduced violence by going after an unarmed citizen of Nigeria. How do you deploy an armada of military weaponry against a young man like this that even looks effeminate? He looks effeminate. He looks harmless. How you are deploying that? Mr. President, sir, my own humble advice. I normally give my advice, pieces of advice without requiring for payment. My humble advice, sir. This is a matter you can still intervene in. Nobody is saying you should intrude into judicial proceedings. I don't believe in it. But this matter can also have a political solution. Let me want to say about that. The Attorney General has the powers under Section 150 and 174 of the Constitution to enter a nolle prosequi, as he has found now that Nnamdi Kanu has no case against him. You are accusing a person of inciting people. You say he made radio broadcasts. From where he made the broadcasts, you did not tell us. Was it in the spirit world? Was it in the ghost world? Was it underground? Was it in the air? Was it in London? Was it in Ivu Kwenia Agenebode, my place? Was it in Kaura Namoda? Was it in Chibok or Dapchi? You didn't tell us when you said he made the broadcast. So Nnamdi Kanu's broadcast, a noise he made somewhere in the ethereal world, suddenly made people to start fighting here. We have seen your lineup of witnesses. We didn't see 100,000 Nigerians lined up to come and give evidence that they participated in any violence because of, we don't see witnesses. So, Mr. President, sir, you can still have a political solution because this matter is not fit for the court. where you will know, sir, that Nnamdi Kanu has grown beyond himself is that he has become a metaphor for the Igbo man's struggle, the struggle of the Igbo to feel wanted in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That after General Olusegun Obasanjo took over the mantle of surrender from General Philip Effiong in January 1970, during the Civil War, when the Civil War ended, and General Philip Effiong handed over the mantle of surrender, and General Yakubu Gowon, the man who became head of state at the age of 32 years as a bachelor, an age where many of our children nowadays are still struggling in the university because of ASUU strike every year. He pronounced the 3 R's: reconciliation, reconstruction, and rehabilitation. Asked the question, have the Igbos been reconstructed? Have they been rehabilitated? Have they been reconciled? If so, show me one single Igbo man in the security apparatus of Nigeria today. Why have you not allowed an Igbo man to be president? After Ekweme became vice president, vice to Alhaji Shehu Aliyu Usman Shagari. After General J.T.U. Aguiyi-Ironsi, Johnson Thomas Umunako Aguiyi-Ironsi became head of state for only 6 months and was brutally murdered during the counter coup. So, we're talking about social justice here. Give it to the people. When you give social justice to the people, then all these tremors, all these volcanic eruptions, all this armed banditry, all this Boko Haram, all these kidnappings, all these murders, all these suicides, all these homicides, all these different types of sites, they will evaporate into thin air. It is because the Nigerian state is not practicing social justice and equity. It is because we are not practicing true federalism. It is because we are practicing a unitary system of government which does not allow for federative units to operate at their own pace and have their own self-realization. These are my few words to Mr. President as he winds up his administration. As he winds up his administration, he has barely 11 months to go. Let Nnamdi Kanu go, just as Moses was telling the Egyptian Pharaoh, let my people go. And when he wouldn't listen, go and look at Exodus 9, Exodus 8:19, and you will see the finger of God when the magicians hired by Pharaoh could not conjure little lice. You know the lice on the head? It's called it gnat or lice. They couldn't conjure them, even though they were conjuring other things. And they went back to Pharaoh and said, Pharaoh, this is the finger of God. Let my people go. But the Bible tells us that Pharaoh's ears have been deafened and they will not hear. But you see, Moses could not cross. But his brother, who was he? Joshua, took the Israelites across. And after parting the Red Sea, God closed it up and drowned all the Egyptians. May you not repeat. Mr. President, sir.